am realizing I'm somebody who doesn't like games.
That's why you hate entrepreneurship.
No, but I do. Honestly, even though I'm into entrepreneurship and like people starting things, it was never necessarily about entrepreneurship that was the thing for me. It was about people like and myself living fully, like to the max that I could live. And
I
that's kind of been my message, especially with my brand Sans Raison. It's just really people maximizing their life. Where for you, it's like maximizing your potential, the missions overlap a lot. But I think lately it's been very hard for me to like stay patient, keep playing. Like I want to keep doing this and I feel like it's something I could do forever, but it's really, really hard in games or just in entrepreneurship in general when you don't see any reward for what you're putting in. And the idea is that the reward is supposed to be the act of you doing it. Like if you have a restaurant, like the act is in you making the food and serving the customers and interacting with them. Like it's already there. So you don't need to get like all these crazy reviews and like all this money for it to be that rewarding. But I just realized right now when you're talking about games, I don't enjoy games because one, there's two scenarios. One, they're either too complicated, like too many rules, and I don't like that many constraints. Like I like a few, but not that many. Or it just, it's like it's like Monopoly. It takes forever. It's just...
You're impatient.
I'm impatient. And I think that's why I've been having difficulty because it like entrepreneurship is a game. And even though I'm here like, oh, I want to live to the fullest, my fullest life includes me having brands and businesses and like serving people and talking about things I'm passionate about, which will just naturally overlap with entrepreneurship. And I'm starting to see like maybe that's why I'm having a hard time because I've always been very impatient when it comes to things. And I like exciting new things all the time, which is why I'm really good at starting stuff. I don't think I'm the worst at finishing things. Like I do like to finish. I can be very like very meticulous about like I have to finish something too when I start it, which is also, it's like a perfectionist thing. I think that's also a problem. Okay. But I'm not used to the finishing of something taking this long. Yeah. And I don't have any structure. Like finishing my degree, that took a long time, but you have a lot of distractions. Like friends, class, there's like little milestones. Somebody has made the structure for you. But when the game is unstructured, it's almost like you don't know what level's next. You like, that's what entrepreneurship feels like lately. And I think that's what it is. Like it's a game you're playing, but you don't know the rules. There are no rules, actually. I don't play a lot of video games or games in general, but there's instructions. It usually comes with instructions, or you see like, oh, if I get to this many points, I get this, I get to this level. Like that doesn't exist. Right. And that's what's really hard is like, it's a game without structure, without rules, and free for all. Right. And you can win really fast. You can win really slow. You can
also lose very fast.
Exactly. You can lose very fast. You can lose very slow. You just never know where it's going. So it's like it's the trickiest kind of game you can play.
And I feel that brings up one of the most important skills you have to learn, which is dealing with uncertainty. Yeah. Being able to do something for a long time. Yeah. Even if it's not clear, you're not getting feedback. Everyone is telling you you're doing the wrong thing.
I might have said this in previous episodes where I'm like, it's not hard yet. Like, the starting the businesses, launching the brands, whatever, it hasn't gotten that hard yet, being a full-time content creator. But I think I'm starting to feel like I can kind of start saying that this is hard. Like it's starting to feel hard. For me, it's because I don't think I've ever had this much uncertainty where every aspect of my day-to-day life is my decision. And that sounds amazing, and it is very freeing because I like freedom, but it's also very uncertain. And I've never had this degree of uncertainty in my life. You've had it because you went through this crazy anxiety experience for like years. So I feel like you got used to that level of uncertainty to where I'm talking about you have to start creating your own rules because you can't hold on to anything. And I think I'm starting to feel that now where I'm like, I have no clue what the hell I'm doing. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna proceed anyway. I'm just gonna force myself to believe this because I have no other option. I was sitting there, like, actually this morning I was writing my newsletter for my brand, and I'm like, man, I've been doing this consistent like thing where I'm writing my newsletter. I think that's good, you know, build the audience, whatever. I'm like, should I do something next? Like, should I launch something new? Because I feel like people are maybe they're getting bored. I don't know. I don't get a lot of, maybe I'm getting bored. I don't get feedback. So I'm just like, sure. Let's assume that people are excited about it and start it. Like, I had to just pretend. It's almost like I'm playing with imaginary friends. I have to pretend that someone has asked me to do this so I can create a new product, or like something, not a physical product, but like something I can make to keep people excited. I'm like, I'm assuming people want something like this, so let me just make it. I think it's cool, so let me do it. And I think that's a lot of times in any business, you just kind of have to force a lot. I don't think people talk about that. Like, you don't want it to be too forced to where it's not aligned, because that's just, it's not going to be worth it for you or the customer anyway. But you have to pretend. You have to be extremely delusional to make anything work, because I've always believed that people don't really know what they want. And what I mean by that is that, like, sometimes you kind of have to put something out there for someone to be like, oh yeah, you're right. And I think a lot of times in this game, you kind of create like, if you don't have the levels, you just create them. Like, this is going to be my new level. This is going to be my new challenge. So like, I think that's not that, like, people don't talk about that, where you're literally, if I'm doing this right, you're literally just creating new events, new experiences, new products, because you think it's cool. You don't know people like it. Maybe you haven't even, like, if you're small like me, you're not getting a lot of feedback. You're getting a decent amount to keep you going, but you're not getting a lot to where you like know that people need this right now. You just have to guess, and if you believe in it enough, try it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's almost like the super game with millions of sub games happening, and they'll overlap with each other. There'll be, they'll overlap in rules and skills you have to learn, but then there'll be games that look completely different. Like, the rules are completely different. The skills that you need to learn are completely different.
It's almost like, honestly, the more I get into this, and like, I've heard people say this, like, when you start a business and, you go after one or whatever, like, you learn so much about yourself. Like, it is literally the process of self-development. Like, you have to change who you are to match this new child. It's like a parent. Like, you have to change to make this thing grow. Even though we like to compartmentalize it into like, oh, I'm starting a business, I'm creating a business, like, you're just learning like real life, I feel like. Which personally, I feel like even in the real world, working for an employer, I don't know if that's real life, because our real life, back to like when, back in the day, we were hunting and we were in the jungle. We were just trying to survive. And I don't think anything really puts you in that zone, especially now, except for like businesses and like going after something that is completely uncertain, because that's what our life used to be like. That was the real life back then. And now we've kind of made things structured, and we've added, now you can see the levels, climb the corporate ladder. You see exactly how it's going to work, which is all artificial.
It's clearly defined,
but life is not defined. Life is uncertain. Life is confusing. And I think this is really, it's the game of entrepreneurship, but it's a game of life. And I think when you start a business, you're like, I'm actually tapping into play life now, and if you're feeling like, oh shit, what am I doing? Like, I don't know if this is going to work out. Like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I think you should just comfort yourself in the fact that, like, you're actually living real life. So even if it feels like you're failing, you're winning at living real life. So,